while I was at the Institute for Research on Women and Gender, there was some discontent among women faculty around what they perceived were salary issues. And one of the things I did at the Institute was spearhead a faculty women's caucus, which would provide a forum for women faculty to come together to discuss issues that were of concern, and salaries were one of those issues. And we met with the provost and wanted to see salary data, and we didn't get exactly what we wanted, but we got an agreement to publish, that the university would publish salary curves without identifying information. And if there were just a few women in the department or the school, you could figure out where you were on that curve. And they published them in the Stanford Daily. And at that point, one of my colleagues at the law school, who was, her field was corporate law, and she had a pretty good math background. She figured out where we were the few women and walked into the dean's office and said, "You have a Title IX problem here," because we were quite underpaid. And in my case, it was partly because I didn't think it was appropriate to bargain about salary issues. And when it was just kind of mentioned in passing to me that, oh, they would give me the same salary I was getting as a law clerk with a little cost of living adjustment. And I said humorously, oh, maybe I should go work for a big Wall Street firm for 6 months first. And there was chuckling all around, and nothing came of that. But it turns out that's what one of the men in my cohort had done. And so he came in with a salary that was several times what mine was. So, and the woman who had walked into the dean's office similarly came to Stanford out of a clerkship. So both of us were at the very low end, even though we were much more productive than other men at our cohort level. So the dean then called me in, and he said, "You're going to notice a salary bump in the next couple of years." He said, "There's a limit to what I can do given what your base salary is on the merit pay, but I'm going to try to make some adjustments." And gradually what the university did when it got that salary data is it went back to the schools or the departments where it saw those patterns and said, "You've got to make some adjustments." Many years later, when the provost asked me to chair a committee to look at issues for women faculty, and one of the issues we looked at was non-salary forms of compensation, because the university pretty much cleaned up the gender disparities around base salary comparisons, but there were lots and lots of other ways that, lab space, housing allowances, there were all sorts of perks that the university was offering. And when we did the gender breakdown, we found that all of what we diplomatically called high outliers, meaning the stars who got the big, they were almost all men. And some of that may have been that men were more likely to negotiate and threaten to leave around salary issues than women were. Women oftentimes had family reasons for not being as mobile, and for a variety of socialization reasons were less likely to, make credible threats to, by shopping around for offers at other places. So women ended up, doing worse. And it's still an issue for any university, because to keep the best people, they need to be able to match outside offers. But if women, for all those same reasons, are not negotiating for those outside offers as much, it's a problem. Now, the successor to the Women's Faculty Caucus, which we had set up as a now Women's Faculty Forum, and we have people come in and teach negotiation skills to women faculty. You know, there was no transparency then around those. There were, you know, nobody coached people who went on the teaching market. It was all the old boys network, and maybe the old boys talked to the young boys about what they should do, but nobody talked to me. And I was just so happy to have this job offer at this great law school that it didn't occur to me to put any conditions on it.